Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the Radiant Pearl Coaching and Consultings, from entrepreneur to, or from employee to entrepreneur. I'm kind of getting over myself tonight. This is our very first live on LinkedIn, but we are having a great time. We've done lives before. Let me mute my phone here so I'm not repeating myself. But welcome for those folks online. I am Renée Morgan. I am founder and CEO of Radiant Pearl Coaching and Consulting. I'm a certified business and executive coach where I help business owners and entrepreneurs scale their business and executive leaders to enhance their career with an intuitive transformation approach. So I'm excited to be here today. If you guys can, in the comments, let me know where you're viewing from. Hey, Sharada, how you doing? What's going on? Where you coming from? Although I know, let everybody know where you are. Yep. As we have folks rolling in to view our live session today. Um, in preparing for this, it was really a mindset shift, even for myself at that time, because what was happening was I was going through the last couple of years. Hey, Atlanta, yes, Atlanta ATL. Um, but I had been reminiscing over the last several years. Hey, Cheryl, how you doing from Maryland? And just really realizing how much growth I've had over the last 2 years. Yes, 2 years. Today, January 19th, marks the 2 year anniversary, I guess, of me leaving my corporate career. And so, hey, Don, how you doing from Silver Spring? What's up? What's up? So, essentially, today is 2 years. Hey, Sharon, how you doing from Maryland? Davetta from Maryland too. All right, y'all. Y'all are on this live tonight. So yeah, so today is the 2 year mark, and when I left my corporate career. And so just celebrating today, just taking the leap and taking the time to actually think about it methodically. And I'll go through my journey today in terms of what I did, how I did it, and how I got to this place of entrepreneurship. So I think the thing to always remember is, or what people always ask me about is, why did you become an entrepreneur, right? And so the thing about it is that I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So going into the workforce, it was always to come out of the workforce and become a business owner. It was never to stay. It was just, the question was just always the when, right? And so when you look at the when, it's like, you're in corporate America, you're comfortable, you're getting that paycheck every 2 weeks. And thank you, Sharon, for the anniversary wishes. You're getting that paycheck every 2 weeks, and you're comfortable, and you're kind of staying in that mode, right? So a little bit about my background. I am former leader in corporate America, where I was a federal government contractor. I was working for one of the big four firms as a leader there, and I was at the height of my career. In my 20 years of management consulting experience, I've been a business developer. I've done business operations, business development, where acquiring multi-million dollar contracts and developing relationships over time to be able to continue those relationships for work. And so consulting for me isn't a new thing, but coaching was new once I came out. But in my career, I had always been coaching people um, throughout my career and throughout my time. In terms of business coaching, I was coaching people pro bono, or just even giving them advice over the last 10 years prior to leaving my corporate career on starting their business. And so it just was exciting for me to start my own thing once I decided. And so my story begins way before 2018, but it starts, I would say the transformation started in 2018. And it started off as a fertility journey. Yes, I said it, a fertility journey. I started acupuncture. Now, most people are like, acupuncture, oh my God, it's too many needles, right? Yes, it's a lot of needles, but it's it's definitely a self-care practice where you you heal the mind, the body, and the soul through acupuncture and through your own body. And so started off there because I wanted a holistic approach to becoming a mother. And little did I know over time that it was really a transformation for me, or the start of a transformation for me, in order to start Radiant Pearl. I had been in my career working 80 hours a week by 2019. I was stressed out. And I found myself, on a high profile project managing a high performance team. Shout out to that team. They were amazing. And I was losing focus on my life. And by 2019, I was no longer on this journey of motherhood. I was on this journey of the unknown, not knowing which direction I was going in. And so by 2020, at the beginning, before the pandemic, I had made a decision to leave my corporate career. Now, I know I said 2 years ago, and 2 years ago is 2021. So the key is I decided, I didn't take action, but I made a decision. And I think that's really important whenever you're looking to leave your corporate career, is making the decision. How many people know about making the decision, or a decision, any decision? Comment in the section or put some comments there. So yeah, it's always about deciding. And once you decide, then you can start planning and acting to make sure that you execute whatever you want to do. But again, as I mentioned before, it was a spiritual transformation over a course of 3 years, getting me to the point of being uncomfortable where I was in my corporate environment. Now, the folks that were there that I work with are like an extended family. So it's very hard to leave, especially when you're at the height of your career. You love your coworkers, you love what you do. And yeah, Sharana knows, you love what you do. But now you have to make it, you've made a decision to leave, but it's the when, when and how, and what do you do in that time? So what was happening is, once 2020 hit, the at the beginning, I don't know if a lot of people know, I think in this area, in the Washington, D.C. area, by March was when everyone went into lockdown. So me making the decision at the top of 2020 didn't have anything. I mean, the pandemic, of course, didn't care about what we all were doing. It was more of, now we're in lockdown. Now we're in sort of a mode of, okay, how do we connect with each other? How do we, do we have Zoom meetings? How many meetings do we have? How do we connect? How do we get the work done while we're all remote? Because again, we were all on site. So my focus shifted again to doing the work and not really focusing in on the exit. And so what happened, and I talk about the spiritual transformation, is a series of what we call a tower moments happened, right? Where the environment no longer became part of my highest good. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of reasons, seasons, and lifetimes, right? Reasons, hey, Taylor, reasons, seasons, and lifetimes, right? So when your season is up on a particular journey or relationship or whatever that is, it's time to move on. It's not to say that you are leaving on bad terms. It's saying that your time, your purpose there is up. And so what was happening in 2020 was a series of events just happening, and I found myself being very uncomfortable where I was in my life at that time. And so it became the time where I had to plan to move on. And so what I did, I started to take my coaching lessons in 2022, or get my coaching certification. I started pro bono coaching with family and friends. I took classes at Harvard University and just started really working out my plan. And then I took a month off. Remember, I'm working 80 hours a week. I'm doing all this extra stuff. And I took a month off, and everybody was amenable to that, and very appreciative that everyone gave me that time, because in that month, I was able to put everything out and really think and plan and think and think, as they say, about what I was really going to do. Because at the top of 2021, I had to make a decision. And so by that time, I made the decision in December of 2020 to really to take the leap. And although it might seem like it's a sad thing, I was excited because what I had discovered since 2018, when I started, acupuncture in this spiritual journey, was I discovered and accepted my purpose. And my purpose is to guide people along in their lives, in life, business, or even in their career for whatever they want to do. And I've always done that in life when I've encountered people, to really be a guide. We get these, downloads from God, from the universe, from whomever. And sometimes we don't listen to those nudges. We don't listen to our inner voices. But in terms of my coaching, the way I do it is, if you get something in your head, we're going to run with it because it came to you for a reason. And so whenever I, think about something, or whenever I meditate, or even when a thought comes to mind, what happens is I really take that into consideration, no matter how crazy it is. Now, I'm not talking about doing crazy, crazy things out of the wind. I'm talking about things that that you should be doing and taking action on, but you keep delaying. And so by 2020, I was ready. And at the top of 2021, I went to my boss and I said, I'm leaving the firm. And although it was very, I was excited. It wasn't exciting for my, for the team, for my coworkers, because I'm leaving, right? It's like, why are you leaving at the height of your career? What's wrong? What's happening? And so these are very smart folks. I love them, right? There was a concerted effort to get me to stay. And I was excited, but the emotional piece of it was really key to really staying focused, because I knew I had a purpose outside of where I was in my corporate career. And I knew that it was time for me to go on to fulfill that purpose. So although how hard it was to leave, it was wasn't as hard, because I knew that I had more to give to the world. And so, how many of you guys have ever been in a position where you know that you should be doing something, but you haven't taken action yet? Anybody in the comments? Hey there. All right, all right. I mean, it happens to the best of us a lot of times, but in the course of 2021, I'll tell you the three major things that I did. I don't suggest it for everybody. For me, when it's time to take action, and when I'm trying to get to, or when I'm looking at going to a higher level, I know that there are a series of steps that I need to take because of the of my purpose. And so when you're ready to make that transition from employee to entrepreneur, it's very important that you understand what your purpose is, because to get there, you're going to have to make major decisions. So I quit my job as a leader at the height of my career, got a divorce, and then I launched my business. Major, major, major things happening all in 1 year. So I'm launching this business and I'm in my purpose, and I'm excited. I did all the things that you can think of in order to start my business. I invested in myself in terms of getting a personal trainer. Shout out to Melissa. She's one of my Bowie State University cheerleaders. We used to be cheerleaders back in college, and she was my personal trainer. I got a professional photographer, which was a referral through my friend. Shout out to Lisa D'Amico, and just had a phenomenal time just doing that whole branding process. And then another friend referred me to a phenomenal marketing team, Maple Leaf, who worked with me in order to develop the CEO that you see today, and the CEO for Beyond. And so I really took time to invest. But before, right, and I want to kind of go back. When I quit my job, when I quit my corporate career, I took a month off. I took a month and a half and I rested. I didn't do anything. I slept. So that's one of the biggest things, because in that time you need to process what's happening. You need to process the emotional aspect of leaving your job, leaving the people that you worked with every day behind. You have to realize that your life is going to change, and that you're going to be now, you know, really in charge of your own time. But not only that, with the sleep that I had, I knew that there was a journey ahead that I needed to get rest for. And so I got my rest in that month and a half, and then I started the branding and marketing process, even before anybody knew that my business was going to come to fruition. Because you have to, whenever you're starting your business, you have to know who you are and you have to know the direction you're going in. A lot of times, people underestimate the marketing process or the branding process. It is very, very important, because if you don't know um, your marketing, if you don't have a marketing plan and you don't know your target audience, or you don't know who you're talking to, you're going to be shooting darts in you're going to be shooting blank darts to an audience that you just absolutely just don't know. So it's important to get that branding and marketing. Also, investing in yourself through photography and through getting your website developed by a professional is really important, because it's what presents out to the audience that you want to connect with. So that was really important. But anyway, 2021 was a year of transformation. I was in my first year, just really, finding my way, really understanding and knowing who I was and knowing where I was going. But I needed to kind of slow down. And when I say slow down, coming from a large business with a large budget and a large team, my mindset is always up here, right? Now, mind you, your mindset could be right here where you're at at this level and you're working, but my mindset was up here, where we were talking about machines putting slide decks together in 5 minutes for an executive review or an executive presentation, and we're getting it done, and the whole team and the machine is doing that. When you're an entrepreneur, it's you and you by yourself, unless you have money or a budget to hire a team. But I suggest that you kind of get to know yourself first as an entrepreneur before you do that. Anyway, so finding myself starting something, doing it, and then saying to myself, oh my gosh, well, wait a minute, there's no team. Now, mind you, you know that in your mind, you see that, but then your body is like shifting, like, okay, I'm going to transfer it to the team, and it's not there. So from an employee, you're working on someone else's budget. Whereas in an entrepreneur, you're working on your own time, and that time is very valuable. So what you're working on has to be something that is going to set you up for success and getting results. So really important thing. Also, as an entrepreneur, you have to understand you're starting from ground zero. And ground zero means there's nothing. You have to create everything. You have to create the thing, or the things that are going to establish your business. So understanding that, I think a lot of people don't realize. And I know we're coming up on a little bit of time here, but anyway, a couple of lessons learned that I will say that really, I mean, but you don't really know. But then you're like, okay, um, you just don't realize, and that's the mindset shift. And I think I talked a little bit about it. You're no longer attached to your company. That's the first thing. You're a free agent. You dictate your time. You dictate what you work on, who you work with, when you work with them, and that you're now an employer, right? That means that you are part of this ecosystem, the economic system of hiring people and providing jobs to your community. So that's really important to understand, is that there's a mindset shift, that you're no longer an employee. There's no check coming in every single week. You have to search for the opportunity, and that opportunity may pay you today, or may pay you a month later, or might pay you at the end of the year, or that opportunity may end. But it's up to you to decide on when you're going to be able to, on when you're going to go after those opportunities. Business loans are good. I think a lot of times we look at loans and we say to ourselves, "Oh no, I don't want a loan. I don't want a business loan." If you're trying to scale your business, or you have a vision for building a bigger business, a business loan will help you have that cushion so that you can scale your business, whether it's paying employees, buying tools, or automating tools for your business. So it's very important to get that loan ahead of time. Hiring experts. And this was a huge lesson learned for me. I management consulting, federal consulting, and then working, for 20 years in business and internships, you learn a lot, but you don't realize how much you know until you're out there on your own. But then sometimes you underestimate what you do know. So when you're hiring experts to work with you, whether it be coaches or consultants, make sure that they're legitimate. Make sure that they are aligned with what you're doing. Um, that was one of the biggest mistakes. I hired somebody to teach me about client acquisition, and I already knew about that. I was a business developer getting multi-million dollar contracts, and I hired somebody to show me. So in the time that we worked together, I got no contracts and no money. Although I learned, some things. But once I finished or ended that contract, it was then I got several contracts after that and tremendous success. So I underestimated who I was. So when you're hiring people, just make sure that they are people who are aligned with what you're aligned with. Social media, making sure that your audience is the audience. I was on Facebook doing Facebook Lives for a long time. And I remember, I think it was Sharon or someone said, those are rich people's problems. You're talking at too much of a high level. I was doing corporate speak on Facebook, where LinkedIn was my place. And so just really again, shooting those blank darts and not hitting at the right places. And so now on LinkedIn, this is my home. This is where this is my jam, as they call it. So the number one missed opportunity that I had. And let me check in with everybody. Is everybody still with me? I know I've been kind of talking here and there. Okay, we've got a couple of folks still with me here. Lessons learned. So not lessons learned. First missed opportunity that I had, or the number one missed opportunity. I did all the things to launch a business. Got the branding, invested in a website developer, got a marketing team, did all the things to research, and plan and research and plan. And when I launched my business, I had nothing tangible. I didn't have any merchandise, no merch, as they say, nothing tangible for anybody to buy. When I launched my website, my 88-year-old aunt, God rest her soul, she went to my website and signed up for my my contact list, or my email list. Now, she would have bought a cup. She would have bought, hey, Lisa, how you doing? She would have bought something from me, but I didn't have anything tangible. Now I sell professional services, so there's a conversation that needs to happen. I mean, I did everything. I mean, we were in the midst of a pandemic. I had a virtual launch. I prepared. I got the sign that you see in the back. I did all the things, but the opportunity to have people purchase merchandise and bringing in initial revenue was the missed opportunity. Now, I joke and I say to a lot of people, I'm like, no opportunity is missed. The opportunity will come again. At the time, and when you think about this as an entrepreneur, at the time, I didn't have the knowledge about e-commerce that I do now. So the thing about it is, now I know what I know now, and now I can do better. As they say, you know better, you do better. And so that was, I would say, one of the number one missed opportunity, because there was so much nostalgia. I have a huge network of people. I had a huge support system of family and friends who would have just bought a cup or a t-shirt or a pen for me. And so that momentum is gone. But the momentum that was there was the momentum that was needed at the time to get me to start. So never think of an opportunity as missed. Think of it as a learning lesson for you to know what to do the next time. So that's really, really important there. Holler if you hear me. No opportunity is missed. Just means you may not need to be there, as they say. So I would say key takeaways from today's live is to know who you are, to know your purpose and why you're starting your business in the first place. You don't want to come into your job today and say, you know what, I quit and I'm gone. You don't want to do that. You want to plan. You want to make the decision first. And then when you make the decision, you need to talk to the people, whether it be your spouse, your partner, whomever, the dog, the cat, the fish, whoever it is, and talk to them about the decision that you've made, because they're going to be affected by what you're doing, right? So it's having that crucial conversation once you make a decision, but knowing who you are, knowing your life's purpose is very key. And then making the decision to go after that as an entrepreneur, right? And then having the crucial conversations with the important people around you. I'm not talking about everybody in an extended family. Now, I've got a huge family, so I didn't have that conversation with everybody on the outside. I had it with, the people that were core to me. And so once you have that conversation, it's not for approval, it's just as a notice. This is what I'm going to be doing. Now, when you're talking about, spouses and partners, now that's a different conversation, because then, you're working together, you're married, or you have a partnership together. That's a different conversation altogether. But everybody has to be on board that lives in your immediate home, has to be on board with what you're doing, because there's going to be ups and downs, challenges. You're going to go through emotional ups and downs. It's going to be tough, but along the way you'll learn things and you'll get better as the time goes on. But having that support system with the people that are core to you and getting them to understand and be on board with what you're doing is going to be so important. You don't need that necessarily, because you have yourself, right? You know your purpose and you're going after it. But the key is that you want to at least give people the courtesy before you make a decision like that to quit your job. Rejection is your protection. Some people don't know who you are. They don't know what you can bring. They don't know what, they just don't know, right? And sometimes they do know, but they don't know what to do with what they've got. Repeat that. Sometimes people want to work with you, but sometimes people will reject you or push you back or make you feel insecure about who you are. Don't feel any way about that, because what's happening is that they're trying to figure out who they are in the presence of you. So if they reject you, it's okay, because they may not be ready for your products or your services, or they're not meant to work with you, right? So rejection is your protection. I've been through that. And don't force anybody to work with you. That's really important. Don't force anybody to work with you. That's a key takeaway. I've seen people do that, and they do not want to work with certain clients, and it ends up being a debacle or stressing the team out or the people out. So don't force anyone out. Before you take the leap, yes, knowing your life's purpose, having those crucial conversations, but you need to plan, you need to prepare financially, emotionally, and you need to prepare a conceptualized plan or idea, or I don't, you can do a business plan, a full-on business plan, but a lot of times with business plans, it's a huge effort, and you want to know what you're doing before you just get a business plan. I know a lot of people have paid thousands of dollars for business plans, and they never use it because they don't really understand what's in it, and they don't understand the value of it after a while. So developing your concept, but prepare financially, prepare your family, prepare yourself, prepare a business plan um, on the concept of what you're going to do. Then you need to test and pilot and test your idea to see if it works. And if it does work, then see where you can make an improvement, or see what see if another idea works, or it may be the same idea, but it may need a little bit more salt, as they say, right? So you want to test it, and then you want to pilot it, and then you want to execute your plan. You want to start doing the thing, and then you want to maintain. So once you start doing that, then you're able to to be comfortable. One of the things that a lot of people say, oh, start your business while you're at your job. Very important. Yes, you can do that while you're at your job. Here's the thing about folks who are under NDAs and non-competes. You need to check with your employer. You need to check your employer guidelines before you start doing things, because you don't want to get shut down after a while and you've done so much work. So it's very smart to start before you actually take the leap. But the other thing too is, if you can't start, or you don't have options to start because of whatever guidelines, you're going to have to leap, and you're going to have to prepare financially and emotionally and you're going to have to, create a plan that works. But there's nothing wrong with planning. The last takeaway I will say is don't delay your journey to entrepreneurship. I think we're going over time a little bit, but don't delay your journey, because the more you delay, as I mentioned before, you're going to have those tower moments. God, the universe is just going to start having things just crash beside you, below you, above you, because you're supposed to be walking in your journey in terms of where you're supposed to be going, and only you know what that is. So a lot of times you can't share it with everybody, because you're getting the downloads. A lot of times people were telling me, you need to not be online so much, don't do this, don't do that. But there were things that I needed to do in order to get to where I was, to where I am now, right? There's more. I'm still, as they say, young in my business. There's more things that I'm going to be, there are more things that I'm going to be doing. But the key thing is that when I think about where I am now versus where I will be, you know, mistakes at this level is not a mistake at another level. So if you think about $1 million mistake versus a $10 million mistake, it's not the same thing, right? So if you have a scenario of like chocolate cake, right? If you have a whole chocolate cake to yourself, right? A whole chocolate cake to an infant means something totally different to a middle-aged person, right? Totally different. I mean, an infant is going to be like, oh, I want all of those things. I want all of the chocolate cake. I'm ready to devour it. Whereas a person who's, probably a little bit more, seasoned, as they say, I don't want to say older, will kind of take it one slice at a time. So try to pace yourself in this process, because it's going to take time. I know you're going to see people out there that are doing all of the things. Some people, congratulations to them that they're doing all those things. They've been doing it longer, right? Some people have been doing it shorter and they've just had a lot of success, but you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So at the end of the day, go at your own pace. Don't pay attention to what's going on outside of you so much. I mean, you might have examples to look at, but don't take that as you're behind. You are on your journey and your journey alone. So understand that when you're doing that. Anyway, so my closing remarks, and I'll take some questions if you guys have them, is that you must believe in yourself to execute your purpose. You must believe in yourself, because if nobody believes in you, you must believe in you. Because a lot of people get into business or they start doing a thing and one person criticizes them, and then they stop the whole thing. And that one person doesn't understand, or they might just have said something, or it could be malicious intent. But at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about them. You are on a specific purpose for yourself. So you must understand your purpose and stay focused, regardless of the criticism, regardless of the challenges that you have. You must stay focused. So that's very important. So you must believe in yourself. And God gave you the ability to do all of this. So don't think that you can't. You can achieve anything that you want in your life. For me, in less than a year, I had tremendous success, still having success. And I know there'll be bumps and turns, but as I stay on this journey, I make sure that I stay in my spiritual practice, and I strengthen that over time. So if you do have a spiritual practice, I would say um, really strengthen that and get to the core of what that is, because you're going to need your faith in all of this too. Um, what's the other thing? Yeah, I would just say those closing remarks. But I wish you the many blessings, abundance, excitement, and joy on your journey to entrepreneurship, because it's a joyful thing. Although you'll have those emotions, I will say for me, I've had tremendous support, um, just outside of myself, spiritual coaches, business coaches, or but not necessarily business coaches, but spiritual coaches who are in business, let's just say that. And I have learned that when you go within, it is such a peaceful thing, because you block out all the noise, and the decisions or the steps you need to take come to you. And so it's very important for you to get into your meditative practice, your spiritual practice, connect with God, the universe, your ancestors, whomever that is, and make it part of your life. Um, so any questions next, before I get into next steps? I know I've kind of been all over the place. Let me see. Yes, girl. I see what you, not the dog and the cat and the fish. Yes, Sharana, the dog, the cat, and the fish. Because if you're starting your business, you're going to be laser focused there. If your dog doesn't get fed, if he doesn't get walked, guess what? He's going to be upset, or she or is going to be upset. They're going to be upset that you're not feeding them or taking them out. So you need to put it in your schedule when you're running your business or when you start your business. So that's why I say the dog, the cat, and the fish, because the fish needs to get fed too. So um, thank you, Sharana. Still here. Yep, sure. Sharon. Wow, I know Sharon, Sharana, and I know Sharon. It's all good. Um, so next steps, what's next? I am offering, and this is a one-time thing because I work with people who are already in business and who are generating revenue. But next Saturday, I'll be holding a half-day intensive, right? And I'll put the link in the comment section once the live is over, just for folks who are looking to take the leap. And during that time, we're going to get clarity on the here and now, and we're going to start visioning in terms of where you want to go. We're going to develop your business concept, and then we're going to take steps, right? The action steps, by creating a 90-day action plan to get you moving, right? This is, a 4-hour time slot. Now, people are like, 4 hours. Yes, because you have to get clear on where you're going. It's not a quick and easy thing that you're going to be doing when you become an entrepreneur. A lot of you guys already have an idea. You're working it, you have it as a side hustle. And that's the thing. This is not my side hustle. This is it for me. This is like my bread and butter. So some people have side hustles that they're working on. These are for folks that are ready to take the leap and ready to start planning to make the exit. And I'll show you some the 3-factor framework that I have in order to get you to move and prepare on the financial and also on the personal side. So that workshop is happening Saturday, January 28th from 10 a.m. to 2. It's under www.radiantpearl.com/workshop. That's the link. So I mentioned, clarity and design, designing your opportunity, designing your business concept. You'll get a template. You'll also get a questionnaire and a workbook to kind of guide you through. So I hope I was helpful today in terms of telling you guys where I am. Um, I want to thank Taylor. Taylor's a part of my team. Has been a tremendous, you know, uh, person to be a part of this journey with me. And I've had other assistants too. But the thing about it is that when people are invested in your journey, that's such a blessing. So I just want to thank you there. Um, any questions? Any questions? Yeah. Any questions? Y'all must have questions. So I think we're 8 minutes over. But if you do have questions, you can contact me. Oh, thanks, Sharon. Um, if you do have questions, send me an inbox here to LinkedIn, and then we can talk about putting your concept together, or even just talk about, where your thoughts are in terms of leaving or taking the leap from your job. Again, once you take the step to decide, then you put it into action. And then the action is actually leaving, right? They're going to offer you, your job is going to, offer you so much, but it's not necessarily about them. It's about your purpose and what you're destined to fulfill. So, I've enjoyed this time. I'm gonna log off and go and take a rest. That is very important when it comes to entrepreneurship. But before you take the leap, plan, prepare, take a rest, and process what's happening or what has happened. And and then continuously, strengthen your spiritual practice. So everybody have a great evening. I'm going to log off. All righty. Thank you. Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. Um, I wanted to be transparent about what was happening. But it's 2 years strong and I'm ready for more. So, uh, God willing. Anyway, you guys have a great night and I will see you online. All righty. Talk to you soon.